to something like Snapcaster Mage was when Innistrad came out, but Snapcaster is kind of a lot more of a versatile card, and so at some point, the Reckoner is going to fall to probably, his thought was like $15 to $18 once the initial rush is over with, and that's the article made sense to me. I don't have any Reckoners, so I'm holding off.
In our match here,
yes,
we have two of the bigger personalities, I would say.
Rufus, Cedric, and then we also have Gerard Fabiano.
So, I would imagine that there was no shortage of banter going on during this match right now.
Yeah, I kind of would like to hear it. But yes, Cedric Phillips with Rufus in tow.
So Gerard's starting on what looks like a regular Boros deck. He has a Guildgate, 2 Mountains, Skinbrand Goblin. As you see up there, it is not a Boros deck. He's a base. It looks like he's a base Boros deck. We've written down 5 color for him. No, I think he's basically just a Boros deck. He's splashing for a Clan Defiance, it appears. Other than that, I don't think he has any off-color cards. So he's just essentially basically a 2-color deck.
So Cedric has a Croconura, which gets taken out by Skinbrand Goblin and an aerial maneuver that you don't expect out of a Skinbrand Goblin.
Yeah.
So Fathom Mage there from Cedric Phillips.
Croconura can be a huge problem for Boros.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a nice maneuver by Fabiano. Timely maneuver.
Cedric opting not to block with Fathom Mage. No. Then we'll get mugged. So it looks like Gerard with a 2/2 drops. It looks like he's still representing a Boros Charm in hand. He actually doesn't have the mana to cast right now. I know he has a Boros Charm. I don't know his last card.
Okay. Wojciech Halberdier's hanging out there next to the Skinbrand Goblin. A 3/2 for 2, already good. A third creature just, in this particular situation doesn't really matter. Cedric hasn't added anything to the board.
I kind of still like Cedric's position here. I feel like he's gotten to 5 mana with taking very little damage.
Right.
It looks like he's holding up a totally lost here. Apparently he's not. It looks like he's just, so we have, it looks like Cedric's hit down to 11. And we'll see Prophetic Prism for Fabiano. Maybe he's had Phillips with nothing. Let's see here. Pass. Yeah, and NSEP he's gonna totally lose the Halberdiers. It seems kind of strange to do that post-combat. I know. The thing is, because the card doesn't have haste, it actually saves the same amount of damage, whether he does it during combat or during end step. It's actually a heads-up play, because now that had he done it during main phase, Gerard would have been able to go on
Prism and then
Prism
replay
into
it,
Halberdier. So he's actually, I believe he's saving some damage here.
Yeah, there we have a Sapphire Drake from Cedric.
Right, reaching that point, Cedric's pretty happy to only be 11 at this point in the game. He's got to watch out for, like I said, that Boros Charm.
Now Cedric is splashing red for, it looks like, mugging. He can activate Disciple of the Old Ways. Not seeing. Let's see, what else does he have for red? Rubble Hulk he's got in here, as well as a Zertos Swine, and he's got 3 pit fights, which obviously
he has no
he's fine with
shortage of heavy hitters. He's going to need to have a couple more large creatures in play to turn this defense into an offense, it looks like. But yeah, so Cedric, Sapphire Drake staring down 2 creatures, the Halberdiers and the Skinbrand Goblin. Probably just needs to figure out how he can go on the offensive. He doesn't want to lose to something like Act of Treason.
Yeah. Oh, that would be rough right here.
Yeah. If you were to say swing for 4, play a large blocker, and get acted, that would be the game.
Yeah. But no red mana for Cedric, it looks like. And that is Rufus on Cedric's head there. Is that outside assistance?
Well, I don't know if Rufus can actually see Cedric's hand. Probably.
Fair. I don't know. He may not be able to. He may not have the power of speech. I'm not sure.
Right.
So there's the attack. Sapphire Drake swings, and I think Cedric was thinking about the same thing we were, where it's like, do I attack here and then get blown out by an Act of Treason? But
Yeah,
just playing the Watcher isn't
Watcher.
as scary, right? Because it's
So with 5 up, he's representing a fair number of cards. He's representing Burst of Strength, Hydroform. That one's probably not in his deck, but it exists.
He,
Totally Lost.
he has 2 copies of Aether Eyes.
Ooh, very
So
nice.
that is something that he could very well have in his hand.
Card typically very good against Boros and Draft. Still pretty decent in Sealed, though. To be fair, it would really just be a fog in this situation. And Cedric's going to jump the Greenside Watch in front of the Halberdiers. If he has the Aether Eyes, this is a great block because it baits a trick
Yeah.
or trades,
And,
both
yeah,
which are
and
fine.
I'm happy to trade a Watcher for Halberdiers when I've got no gates in play,
Got to be careful once again. because
especially.
He's winning the race, but he actually he's ahead on damage, but I don't know if he's actually winning the race. If you remember that Gerard has a Boros Charm in his hand, he certainly is losing the race.
Mm-hmm.
But Cedric may not know that right now. Interestingly enough, Gerard's pretty low on creatures this game.
Yeah, it seems like he's kind of
Yeah.
run out.
He's only had 2 all game. Gerard also in his deck has double Syndic of Tides. So
Oh, nice.
he can, if he gets Cedric close, it may be in Gerard's strategic interest to just get Cedric close to dead, or as close as possible, and then extort the rest of the way there.
Right, he could theoretically Boros Charm for 5.
Right.
Right,
And
I mean-
Cedric's at 7.
Yeah.
And I do believe that is a Syndic in his hand.
Cedric has Diluvian Primordial as another top-end creature,
Yeah.
although I have a feeling he has not drawn it yet.
Yeah, he's drawing a fair number of gates. Cedric's got to be really careful. At this point, if you're Cedric, you should be really suspicious about how this game's going. You probably want to try to race. There's just so many tricks that Boros could have to change this race. Anything from Boros Charm to Act of Treason. Well, you probably know he's not on the act anymore. To a Skynet Legionnaire, to a Ember Haste Goblin.
Is that Hellraiser Goblin, you mean? Ember Haste
Yeah,
Goblin?
Hellraiser
Is that
Goblin.
Ember Beast plus
Ember Beast,
Hellraiser
yeah, Ember
Goblin?
something. Too fast, everything must attack Goblin.
Yeah, oh yeah, Hellraiser Goblin.
There you go, yeah. And it does look like Cedric has the Aether Eyes, which is
And
he's going to have to do it
he's gonna
straight
use it,
up
yeah.
unsummon.
Yeah, 4 mana unsummon your 1 or your 2 drop.
Which may be good enough right here.
I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it. It's like, well, I could pay 4 mana for an unsummon or lose. I guess I'll go ahead with the unsummon.
The race is very close, and I don't think Gerard has a way to deal with Sapphire Drake at the moment. Alright, so now plan B for Gerard Fabiano. This is the Syndic he's been holding the whole time. I'm curious what it was playing around, but he's going to do that, and he's going to... Remember, that single extort's so important here, because it gives him
Yeah.
an entire another turn.
So he goes Syndic, Goblin
And he has...
with Extort, so that puts Cedric to 6.
Remember, he does have a Boros Charm
Yeah.
as the last card in his hand.
Yeah, Cedric is at a virtual 1
Yeah.
at this point.
Basically dead to a spell, and he's going to go for the kill.
Yeah, he is. Xertas Swine, Blood Rush on the Sapphire Drake, and if...
No, Gerard can Boros Charm in space and extort for 1. And that will put Gerard to 1 if he does it. If he just
Or
plays the Boros Charm, extorts, Gerard goes to 10 off the extort.
Right.
Which he's going to do, yeah. Boros Charm.
Well, you're saying, I think you switched their
Oh,
names.
sorry,
but
Gerard,
yeah.
Gerard can survive this.
Gerard
by 1.
extorts goes to 1, and then
Swing back for the lethal.
Yeah,
They'll
that's-
both be at 1, actually.
that's what we call close magic.
Yeah.
You're right. I think Gerard's got this by 1 life.
Yep,
And
and
yeah,
so
there
Gerard
it is.
takes game 1.
Wow, by literally 1 life. That was pretty intense. Yeah.
Wow,
so
very close game. Cedric got wondering if there's something else he could do. My guess is no here. It felt like
he seemed to be pretty aggressive that game. Like he attacked with that Drake every opportunity. I think.
yeah. I don't think he could have waited it out. The question for Cedric would be: was he better swinging the Drake, or was he better just like holding the Drake back, then casting Xertas Wine, then mashing with Xertas Wine?
Right.
With the Aether Eyes in hand, I almost would have wanted to have played it the other way. I
Yeah.
think. It's very close.
It would have, holding back the Drake would have caused Gerard to commit more to the board.
Yeah, Gerard can commit more to the board, making the Etherize stronger, and like
Exactly.
Cedric can block and Etherize if a trick ever presents itself.
Right.
It's pretty close. It depends, on the other hand, if Gerard gets a second Syndic going, then Cedric's plan looks really foolish.
Yeah, because he just casts spells and does nothing. No
Right.
attacks, not a problem. So going to the sideboards here, look like they both have some changes to make.
Yeah. Sideboarding is one. I think sideboarding limited, especially in sealed, is one of the lost arts. It's very rare that in a sealed deck that I won't be changing at least one card in every match. In draft, I oftentimes virtually throw away my sideboard.
Yeah.
But sealed is pretty different. You just have so many different options. For example, so in Gerard's deck, at this point he probably has to put. If I were looking at Cedric's deck's clearly not fast. The red is probably for a lot of blood rush and removal. So I'd be thinking, what's good against large creatures? I would look toward, possibly let's see. So looking in his deck, in the colors he's playing, he's not running. For example, Gerard's not running a Hellraiser Goblin, which haste tends to be better against the sort of thing Cedric is playing. He could be, if he has the possibility to splash, he could be running. There's a 1,000 lashes in the sideboard, which if he wanted to go bigger, he could do as well. He could be splashing. There's a treasury thrall and a 1,000 lashes, which he could get both of.
So a card that Cedric has two of that he could play and is not is a card you and I were talking about last night, and a card that I think a lot of people have been thinking is a pretty good card. He's got Hands of Binding, 2 copies in his sideboard. So I think I wanted to talk, actually I wanted you to talk a little bit about that because I know you had a kind of surprising opinion about it.
Yeah, well, Hands of Binding is one of those cards that I think from my first draft until when I was preparing for the Pro Tour up until now, it's the card whose stock has dropped the most for me.
Okay.
I think it looks good on the surface because it's really tricky. First of all, my conclusion, I don't think it's a very good card. I think when you play it, it feels really powerful.
Right.
They have one blocker, you tap it, and then you tap their other guy, and you're like, wow, that was a really sweet turn, and I might even tap down one of their other guys in the future. And while that's pretty good, I think what it comes down to is sometimes that doesn't have a really big lasting effect on the board. If the guy you put it on doesn't connect even, then the card's terrible. You're essentially playing like a Frost Breath at sorcery speed.
Sure.
So unless I'm putting it on something like an unblockable creature, Elusive Crosses, Keymaster Rogue, I'm not even excited about playing Keymaster Rogue. Hands of Binding is probably one of my least favorite cards. It wants to be removal, but it just isn't removal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's almost more valuable because I think the Cypher cards all fall into this category where they're just so much better the turn you play them because you usually set it up to connect as well. So you're like Hands of Binding on my guy, or Hands of Binding on your guy, encode it, and then connect with a guy. So tap that guy, and it's just like, gosh, that seems really good. And that
turn Frost Breath is good the turn you cast it, but after that, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it can be a letdown.
So I guess the idea is if you've got something evasive,
you
nice.
Wish it was
the only thing they could play to follow it up is a creature that can block your evasive guy because the 2 guys you tapped are stuck that turn, right? So they have to play something that can block your guy, otherwise you're going to connect again and keep one of them tapped.
I think the closest thing is Sleep is the closest comparison, except that it's not Sleep because
it's definitely not Sleep.
Right. It doesn't. If you have a board of 3 blockers, it doesn't really do much in the situation. A lot of the Cypher cards, you really have to evaluate on how good would they be if you only get it off twice. Because for the most part, I'd say Cypher cards, any Cypher card, if you get it off 4 times, if you cast it 4 times, is very good. Last Thoughts, if you get, maybe you should say, I can keep their guy tapped down with Hands of Binding. Sure, if you can get 4 Last Thoughts off, now you cast Tidings.
But also, look at the situation that Cedric was in that game where, it was a Skinbrand Goblin beating him down for a lot of that game where Gerard just didn't have any guys.
Right.
Maybe you just hope to trade some guys and make it so that they don't have many creatures on board, and then you
Hands of Binding.
kind
the
of
last
play
one.
into the Hands of
The
Binding.
interesting thing is, so that first turn would be good, but then if he starts attacking with the Sapphire Drake, say there, and it's keeping one guy tapped down, that's very similar to leaving the Sapphire Drake back for blocking. Basically, the Sapphire Drake is negating one attacker, so it's not you're not actually gaining much. You're gaining a clock, which is
Right, exactly.
good,
You're
but-
doing 4 when you otherwise wouldn't be. So.
Yeah, but that's not exactly his role here. You know,
Sure.
he's hopefully not going to race. So Cedric opted to play. I think worried about the Boros deck.
And we have a daring Skyjack from Gerard crashing into the red zone.
Yeah, hitting
On the ground.
into the Sage's Row Denizen. Cedric would be worried about. He already saw an aerial maneuver once.
Sure.
It depends if he has another answer to the Skyjack, but I think he probably just has to block here and accepts that he might lose his guy to a trick.
Looks like he didn't block,
Disagrees.
so he goes to 17. I mean, it's early, but I think I may have blocked.
Yeah, I don't want to get the Boros guy to get to a battalion. And now Gerard with my favorite uncommon and sealed.
Sunhome Guildmage.
Sunhome Guildmage. Interestingly enough, in draft, I think it's worse than True Fire Paladin. In sealed, I like this card more.
So I'd like to talk more about that. Let's
Yeah.
when we have a chance. Which we may, because now it looks like they're tanking. So
Yeah. So I think in sealed, what I really like is a card that can win an entire game on its own. You know, a must-answer card. And I feel like Sunhome Guildmage is that card.
Okay.
It doesn't take much. Say that was a True Fire Paladin right now. I don't know how scared I would be of it. You know,
Okay.
he only would have one activation. It couldn't even. The best he could do was trade with Sage's Row Denizen. He could beat it up once he got 5 mana.
Right. Okay.
And Cedric with the perfect answer, nonetheless.
Right.
He
Finds a pit fight.
Yeah.
Puts the Sage's Row Denizen and the Sunhome Guildmage into the pit.
and then attacks.
Yeah.
And then attacks with Sage's Row Denizen. He's still opting
Yeah.
not to trade.
So Skyjack again in for 3 for Gerard. Knocks Cedric down to 14. And it looks like double black for a
Basilicus creature.
Basilicus creature.
So Gerard being very ambitious with his mana base. He's going 2/7/7. He's actually sided out his green in favor of black, which is not in the main. Looks like probably what he sided in is Basilicus creature, Killing Glare. He does have an Ogre Slumlord in the deck, Syndicate Enforcer. And like we said before, a 1,000 Lashes and a Treasury Throw that I was talking about, those cards almost certainly in the deck now. And looks like he also has a Vizkopa Confessor in his board of it.
Oh, did you see it in his hand?
Yeah, it looks like it's in his hand. He has the Guildmage as well. That one probably not as strong based off this mana base. He might still be in the deck.
Yeah, still leaving up a white and a red representing either Boros Charm or another Martial Glory.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't. Yep, and he does have both in his deck.
There's an elusive Crassus from Cedric, and that is an 0/4,
Yeah.
but it is evolve and unblockable.
I'm still very curious as to what Cedric was playing on when he was not blocking the Skyjack. He probably just drew the Crassus, because it seems like if you had the Crassus in hand, you would have been fine trading Skyjack for a combat trick.
Yeah,
Or
that
playing
makes
Sage's Row for a combat trick.
sense. Sure.
So Gerard's doing something I really like here with his mana. Playing a really ambitious mana base. I'm a big fan of that in sealed. I feel like that's where I prefer to be in the sealed deck.
So Crassus gets in front of the Skyjack, and Cedric takes 1 from the Basilicus creature.
Yeah, Gerard's actually transformed to almost a straight Orzhov deck.
And speaking of which, there's the Syndic of
Yeah.
Tithes, one of the...
He's opted not to extort. That's a pretty big tell here. Or it's certainly not a tell, it's a bluff. What he does have, I'm not positive, for black-red.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he's bluffing. Devour Flesh?
That would be the card, but that's not really much of a bluff. Furious +3/+0 first strike.
Yeah,
That-
Furious Resistance.
Yeah, that card's not very good, but it's a card. Yeah, this extort deck seems to be a lot better. I like it a lot more in sealed than Simic, especially against Simic. Because Simic lacks removal, the Orzhov cards are so strong at dominating a game when not removed. It's really hard. You know, how do you race this board?
Right. Yeah, I mean, not to mention, at this point, like, I mean, Gerard doesn't even really have to attack. He just has to keep casting spells. You know, it's just that reach that the Extort provides. Not to mention, like, a lot of times you're thinking about Extort and you're looking at the other guy's life total, and you know, it gains you life too. So it's even harder to race because, you know, you're negating the other guy's attacks if he's just got these little guys.
Cedric is how's he gonna, you know, this game's getting out of control pretty quick for him.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's in good shape.
Well, he doesn't have the ability, and since he doesn't have the ability to remove the Gerard's creatures, he also doesn't have the ability to like deal damage, and he has like inevitable damage, but he doesn't have, you know, a giant flyer or something that hits really hard. So, you know, for example, Cedric in his hand has a prophetic prism, and that's going to extort for 2.
Gerard, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm terrible things right now. Gerard has a prophetic prism in his hand, which will extort for 2. It's really hard for Cedric to make a play that adequately races that.
Yeah.
I mean, right
now, here comes Sage's Road Denizen.
Right, that deals 2, but Gerard's going to
gain it right back. It's almost like Cedric's preemptively negating the next 2 Extort triggers.
Right.
You know, at least on Gerard's life total. The effect is still going to apply to Cedric's life total.
Yeah, so for what we may see from Gerard here, what I like, he has his plan, maybe pre-combat of Vizkopa Confessor.
So no Extorts there, but you get the... well, he's going to go with the Extort
it's
off
fine
the prism.
too. I mean, what I'm worried when I'm Gerard's situation is I'm worried that I might lose to a bomb, and I'd rather get that out of his hand.
Yeah.
He's going to
Screecher just gets in.
Screecher swing for 1.
Right, so Cedric should be at 10 here.
Yep. And okay, so worst case scenario for Gerard, what are the bombs in Cedric's deck? What is he playing around?
Well,
I mean, he doesn't know.
Right, exactly. You know, Sapphire Drake, not a bomb, but a 4/4 flyer would be still better than everything
a Rubble
Cedric's got
Hulk,
right now.
Right?
He does have the 1 Rubble Hulk. He has the Zerta Swine as well, which Gerard does know about. Again, along with the Fathom Mage, not really a bomb, but you know, something.
Yeah, here Fathom Mage
not very good.
Very strong.
Just looking through the list here.
You know, there was the double the Etherizes that he needs to know to play around, but
sure.
Thankfully Orzhov doesn't really care about Etherize. You know, is it even good to Etherize a Basilicus creature? It means Gerard can recast it.
Yeah.
Cedric racing as best as he can. Sage's Row. Okay, some sort of banter there. Yep, he's going to trade the Skyjack for the Denizen.
I think I see the Swine in his hand.
So, yep, I agree. I do see that. Interestingly enough, Cedric did not play that pre-combat, so he has no intention of hitting with the crosses.
Yeah, as far as like bombs, I'm not seeing much in Cedric's deck beyond the the Zerta Swine and the Rubble Hulk. He's got Adaptive Snapjaw. I don't really consider that much of a bomb, but again, it's like that and the Snapping Drake are like
this is the difficulty with Cynic. Because the problem is what he really needs is a removal spell, and those are just are hard for him. You said he has 3 pit fights, right?
Yeah, and I think he used 1 this game. Yes.
Yep, he fought with the Soundhome Guildmage. Great use of a pit fight.
Absolutely, yeah. He's doing some math and plays an island. And there's something blue there. Is this the... I didn't get good enough of a look.
Yeah, we'll see in a sec. He has the he has Rubble Hulk, Zerta Swine, and Diluvian Primordial.
Okay. So he's going with the Swine. Did I miss that he had Diluvian Primordial? I think I said it last game, and I didn't.
So his hand looks like it's just full of beef. You know.
Okay, so that's good for Cedric
then. There's a 5/4, a 7/7, and a 5/5 flyer in his hand. So Cedric's gonna, and this is how the Rug deck basically operates. They dare the other deck to make better, stronger plays. And Gerard's gonna get one of them. It's gonna be a Vizkopa Confessor with an Extort. And that's gonna be a very strong play. So that drains Cedric to 9. So yeah, Cedric will be pretty unhappy with this. Yep. Oh no, so it's not Diluvian. It's Etherize.
Oh, okay. He does have the Luvian Primordial
in his deck, right? I mean, this is clearly going to be the Rubble Hulk going.
Yeah, because Gerard can just play around the Aetherize.
Yeah. Swing 1. Gerard can probably race, like let Cedric hit and just race the Xertos Swine. Which is actually, kind of hilarious when you hear how that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, just race the Xertos Swine.
Yeah, just race the big giant creature over there. So. And Cedric gets in. Oh no, he's thinking about deploying the troops, but pulled him back.
Yeah, Cedric doesn't have much choice but to swing here, because against a 3 extorters in play, not swinging really is not a choice either.
Yeah.
Xertos.
There's Xertos.
Xertos Swine. He's the Golgari Longlegs with a great upside. I would say probably my favorite common in Gruul.
Pretty solid card.
Armored Transport. Yep. Transport's now Tides Shift. By doing this, he's sacrificing 1 damage because now his Copa Confessor can swing. That's probably fine for by Cedric. Cedric may even Etherize the Confessor if it swings. It's too much mana for Gerard to profitably recast it. So just needs to hope that Gerard doesn't have, a 2-mana spell. So like Boros Charm right here would just be devastating.
Right, oh my gosh, yeah. Boros Charm would just kill him.
Yeah, Boros Charm would just kill him.
Because he's got 3 extorters on board.
Well, we'll put him to 1.
We'll put him to 1, you're right.
Which is essentially killing him.
Right.
So Cedric's... Right, so I like the swing. Gerard's swinging first, that's that slide. Well, if I have the Boros Charm, you have to Etherize here.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'll post-combat kill you.
Looks like... I think Cedric's taking it.
I mean, I don't think Cedric has a choice but to take it. Etherizing here means Gerard recasts and double extorts. That's not even...
Yeah.
Is that even a thing?
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Well, what Cedric has to hope to do is maybe... I mean, I would say draw Rubble Hulk. You can't really do that.
What is even... Besides the fact that Diluvian Primordial would be a nice 5/5 flyer to have, is there even anything worth casting in Gerard's graveyard, or even any targets?
There's no targets in this graveyard.
Yeah, so it would just be a 5/5 flyer, not really, not bad, but...
The difficulty for Cedric here is that Gerard's going to end this turn at, probably 10 or 11, and with a fair number of chump blockers in play. Alright, so 6, we're going to see Balustrade Spy extorting twice.
Yeah.
So that one, 2/3 flyer that grinds. It's a Simic Guildfield. Alright, so the mission is to deal 10 damage this turn. Remember, Cedric cannot take more than, he has now 5. With 3 extorters in play, it's possible that Cedric actually has 2 turns to work with here.
How many cards in Gerard's hands? Does it look like just 1?
I think it's more than 1.
Okay.
What's going to happen is that Gerard will probably chump block the Xertos Swine with the Balustrade Spy and then just cast another spell and then cast another spell.
Just extort for the win, pretty much.
Yep. Swinging here, especially because of the Etherize, not a great play. Gerard just needs to make sure that he doesn't die to a top deck Blood Rush card, which he has some amount of control over. I mean, say it's a Xertos Swine, that's 7 with the Crassus. That's why I think he'll have to block the Xertos Swine. Otherwise, he'll have to start chumping it. Otherwise, his life will get too low. This game's still pretty close.
Yeah, Cedric...
You're a disciple of the old ones. So he swing for 7.
Yeah, so Cedric has Aetherize and Disciple in hand.
Interestingly to me, and so Gerard is going to try to kill the Xertos Swine.
Oh wow, okay. So Syndic of Tides and Balustrade Spy in front of the Swine.
Interesting. So he's going to get rid of one of his extorters. Depending on... If Gerard's hand is full of expensive cards, this makes sense. If he doesn't have a good spell to triple extort.
Sure.
That would be my read on the situation, because I would otherwise probably just chump the Xertos.
Right.
It might actually be, but no, actually probably this is just better.
So he does get rid of the swine with the double block, and Cedric follows up with Disciple of the Old Ways. And is that Wrecking Ogre?
He can't actually blood rush it, thankfully for Cedric. There's a Death's Approach in Gerard's hand, and they're current. So he'll swing 1. Yeah. Is that worth the Etherize? Yeah.
Cedric's like, yeah, I'll save a damage.
So now he has Basilicus Creature Extort, Death's Approach, Double Extort, which is probably his line.
Yeah, it looks
then,
right to me,
then
right.
next turn Cedric's going to be dead to a spell. Yeah, so that'll go 4 and 9. This will bring 11 and 2.
So Death's Approach, Extort, so Cedric should go to 2.
Mm-hmm. And with 1 in the air and or any spell should get Cedric. He's Cedric lackadaisically like, all right, well, swing my 2, go. Just waiting to see the spell.
Yeah, there it is.
So there you go. Gerard Fabiano moves to 6-0, defeating Cedric Phillips 2 games to 0. Interestingly enough, I'm wondering whether or not that was a transformative sideboard or whether Gerard just kind of decided he'd built his deck wrong. Based off that game, my suspicions it's the second.
Yeah, like if you read his article this week, which is on Star City, it is not premium, it's Star City Select, so you can go check out Gerard's article. He talked about how much he liked Orzhov, Esper, to be specific. So he started off in game 1 with completely not Esper deck, right? It was like more like Naya.